The wages of sin is an interesting expression. It means to face the consequences of your sins. But what is a sin? And who defines what a sin is? If you sin and you're trying to help someone, are you still sinning? Who pays the wages of sin? The expression ties closely with the theme of justice, which is a recurring theme in many of the poems that we have analyzed and examined during our Frostian journey. This discussion will revolve around the themes justice and the wages of sin, and how they are shown in The Death of a Hired Man and Out Out, two poems that are by world-famous poet Robert Frost. We will then compare and contrast the two poems to another famous poet named Transdramer and his poem Romanesque Arches.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so beginning with Death of a Hired Man. In short, this story, Death of a Hired Man, is a story about a man and a woman named Warren and Mary who are owning a farm and hiring a lot of people. On this farm, a worker named Silas has been working on and off for some time, but always quitting when the job starts to get tough and leaving them behind. After some time, Silas returns again, but this time very weak, and he's begging Mary for a second chance, and she's actually fooled by this. Although Silas does know that he can't really work anymore. When then Warren, after some debate with his wife, decides to talk to Silas, the wages of sin have already been paid, and Silas laid dead. What do we make of this?
Right. Well, again, justice and the wages of sin is very clear in this poem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the wages of sin are that, the sin in this case was that he betrayed them.
When they needed him the most.
Yeah. And then he left them when they needed him the most. And then he comes back.
When he knows that he can't do anything, help them, or like he hasn't any
strength left.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's actually fooling them. And,
trying to fool them.
Trying
to fool one of them, which then
he's trying
decides
to
to argue and take his side, but it doesn't really work out.
And then the one who pays the wage of sin is, in some instances in this poem, is God, or it's nature.
Depending on what you believe.
Depends on what you believe and how you look at it, really.
Yeah. So, from the... Okay, let's talk about deserving this. Did he deserve this? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, I think a deserving isn't really relevant in this discussion because no matter if he deserved it or not, what happens, happens. I mean, it is what it is.
But deserving thing is always relevant, you know. Otherwise,
not really,
you won't have any rules. You can't really do things. Then you'll do bad things all the time with no consequences.
Yeah. Well, I don't think deserving has anything to do with it. It's just if you do something stupid, then you get those consequences.
You deserve to get those consequences as well.
But
so
for example, if someone is trying to help someone, like if someone is trying to steal bread to feed a poor family, are they still sinning? Like, do they deserve to be punished?
It depends on who's actually defining sin.
Yeah.
I would say that the winner and the majority of people always.
But if you think about nature, who's completely objective.
Yeah, probably it's a sin by nature, I mean.
Yeah.
A sin is a sin.
A sin is a sin. Exactly. So they don't really deserve it. But it is what it is. Whatever happens, happens.
Mm-hmm.
And that instance, it's true, yeah.
So I don't think that we should really... I don't think it's worth your time to focus on what you deserve. I think it's worth your time to think about what you're actually doing
what's
objectively.
Just.
And what results that will lead to.
Yeah.
And Silas got this justice. Really.
Yeah.
We should focus on that more.
Exactly.
Wait. Isn't the death also one of the people or things that are paying the wages of sin?
Because I think death is a result.
Death is a result.
Yeah, but
death is the paying of it's the wage.
Yeah.
But the person who is paying the wage could be natural selection, God, the devil.
Yeah, perhaps Silas was never fit to run anything really good.
Yeah.
And then it's nature all the way through.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so next poem, Out Out. And this poem, yet again written by Frost, this pessimistic view of what the wages of sin really are is clearly projected again,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more of a dull version of it.
Version.
Yeah. A boy who is with much pride in his mind, pride as one of the 7 big
Mhm.
major deadly sins,
Mhm.
is cutting some wood with a saw when his sister disrupts the boy. Then he looks up for a second, and then the saw appears to leap from him and cut his hand off, clean off.
Yeah.
The boy later dies from this, suggesting that pride in taking more than you can chew will eventually kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, here it's
Great.
obvious
Yeah.
that who pays the wages of sin, which is the saw.
Yeah.
And the saw in the form of nature.
In the form of
Since
nature.
The saw
Yeah.
is a machine. It doesn't have
Yeah.
a mind of its own.
So what was the sin here?
That he didn't have, he got his attention. He was distracted by
Yeah.
his sister.
But then was that his fault?
Yeah, but he did someone else's job.
Does that really?
Well, he didn't really want to do the job. That was he from the start. He sinned by saying to himself, "I don't really want to do this,"
Yeah.
since he really easily got distracted and
Mm-hmm.
wanted to quit early to eat supper.
Mm-hmm.
Where were we?
We were talking about
Sins.
Sins.
Yeah. So
Okay.
should we discuss
So
the
the
question?
saw in nature pays the wages of sin. And then
Yeah.
what is a sin in this case? Like
Just
since-
distraction.
Yeah, distraction was a sin.
Yeah.
And then
And-
pride.
and not
yeah.
focusing, but pride. How do you mean pride?
Well, he was proud doing this.
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, he was
He was proud taking
boy
something that he
doing a
couldn't
man's
take.
job, though a boy in mind.
Yeah.
Yes, but then that
Do
could
you-
also be your parents giving him this job,
Yeah, well,
and but that's not really pride.
But usually when you,
but then
for example,
he
when
feels this
I mean-
trust from them. He's proud that they can trust him to handle the saw and do this.
But I
big
think
work.
that's the reason that he.
I mean, usually when a child
I
gets
think that's
like,
the reason.
a small job, usually from a parent, they get like proud of
Yeah.
something they can help with.
Most people.
But yeah, but this time his father, we say that is his father, gave him something that he couldn't do. Like, and he was proud of it. He thought he would be able to solve this sawing, but then he was distracted, and then
Yeah.
he was paid.
Where is the justice in this then? Did the boy was the killing justified and the death justified, or was it unjust?
Well, I think that.
I think from a natural selection point of view, it would be a justice, like because he was not really.
He wasn't fit to
focusing,
do
yeah.
the work.
Yeah. Okay, so what is the justice in this?
Justice. Yeah. Well, he wasn't fit to do the work. Nature saw this as a break against its own
The
law
rules,
of
yeah.
natural selection and survival of the fittest, and he died.
Yeah. So basically, well, we can also think about that. Yeah, since he was the characteristics that this person had were characteristics that you would not want in the perfect human being,
Yeah.
and that's what natural selection is striving towards. If you think of it from a completely natural selection perspective.
It was thriving.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that.
Well,
Yeah,
through
exactly. Yeah.
Through our technology, we aren't really striving towards the same things as before.
Yeah, but like natural selection per se.
Yeah,
Like,
per se. Yeah.
I was thinking that the guy was greedy.
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 how so?
Like, because, I mean, he wasn't fit for the job, but he
Mhm.
took it anyway.
But you can't really say no. Like if
Yeah, you can't say no, but you have to know that you have something really dangerous
I
in your
think-
hands.
I
you
think
Yeah,
that the
isn't
reason-
greed, really.
Yeah, I think that if you go to the core reason of why he died was because he was not focused on his work.
Yeah.
That's the main reason that he accidentally cut his hand off. Like that. This is the reason that he died because he was not focused on his work.
Yeah.
Earning a sin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
should we move on?
So the third poem, by Thomas Tranströmer this time, Romanesque Arches,
Yeah.
and this is kind of based on a real trip to Venice with his wife. and he's in this giant Romanesque church, when suddenly an angel without a face comes forward and tells him basically not to be ashamed of humanity and be proud, and you'll never be whole, but that's how it should be, and so forth. And then he's blinded by tears from this, and he's pushed out to the big piazza together with a lot of other tourists. And then, who were, really think, intentionally made to put one from, I guess, Latin America, one from America, and then one from Asia. And then him from Sweden. Just show this variety of people. All of them experiencing this same thing.
At the same place.
And then,
So, what the angel says to this man is that, and I put it on. What the angel says to this man is that he should be proud of humanity, and he shouldn't feel bad about everything that humanity has done. But this in itself are two big sins. So that firstly, pride. It's one of the 7 deadly sins. And secondly, being proud over something so horrible as the history of humanity.
And then also that he'll never be done. So, and that's how
he'll
it should be.
never
You'll never have enough. So you always this greed.
Striving for more. So it puts in this greed factor as well, which is another sin. So the fact that an angel is telling this man to sin, if you think about it, this angel is telling this man to sin, but angels aren't supposed to tell people to sin.
They're supposed to tell them that it's a sin.
That you have done a sin. So
they're wrong, and
which sort of brings me to the fact that maybe this entire poem is ironic. And it's all from a Sophoclean perspective.
It's kind of counter against.
But
it's countering itself almost. Itself and Frost, because if you think
religious,
about,
but it still isn't. And then it's bringing this devilish part of religion as well.
The poem is though written in a very light, texture.
As many of Cranstomer's poems.
But when you really analyze it and think through what he's actually saying, you assume that he's talking about dark secrets and dark. So
if we think of it, if we don't think that it's ironic, if we look at exactly what is written, it's countering the Sophoclean ideology in Frost a lot. It says, first of all, don't be ashamed of humanity's sins, which is something that you should very much be ashamed of. And second of all, this entire idea of having an epiphany, that you suddenly come to this obvious big realization. But then, that counters the Sophoclean idea a lot. But if it were ironic, then it's countering itself. Because, as ironic poems do, because it's talking about an angel and a church, but saying very un-Christian
suggesting
things.
that the angel is really not. Was an angel. So it says an angel with no face.
And you could think about that since the devil, Lucifer, was an angel once a time, and technically still
really
is.
Wants to show himself to people.
Probably he was in disguise.
So this could be the devil in the form, in
the form of an angel.
But the devil is an angel. Sent to
heaven. But he's not really a good angel.
No, exactly. So
in religion, he's a devil. He's a definition of a devil.
And then it's yet again ironic, since it suggests that angels are really devils. Continue.
Like I said, that that maybe the poem is ironic, and it is about the devil not showing itself, and coming as an angel and telling you to sin. And maybe so it can be a cautionary tale about how you should not believe in everything that you hear.
A lot of views.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.